Well, as Nick has just hinted at, Britain's Chris Froome is all but certain of being crowned the winner of the Tour de France for a fourth time. The Team Sky rider finished today's time trial in the leader's yellow jersey ahead of tomorrow's final stage, a procession into the centre of Paris. Well, Froome finished today's stage in Marseille around an hour ago, and Sky's Rebecca Williams is there for us now. So, Rebecca, is it all over?
Well, not yet, but he seems set to have won, certainly. He came through the streets of Marseille behind me about an hour ago. Incredibly exciting. And, of course, we're just outside the Stade Velodrome here where he started and he finished. Should say there were a few boos when he finished, but that will not dampen his spirits. For him, he told us, in fact, last week that this will be his greatest achievement to date. Because, of course, this Tour de France hasn't all been plain sailing for him. He had mechanical problems, he lost the lead, he won it back. But, of course, now he seems set to have taken the title yet again. So that's 4 wins in 5 years, a pretty amazing feat. And, of course, only beaten by a handful of people who've got 5 wins under their belt. But certainly this was a time trial. It's something that Chris Froome certainly excels at. He was one of the favourites going into today, and he wanted to retain that yellow jersey, which of course he has now done. And then tomorrow the peloton head to Paris. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're heading straight there now. And of course he will get to do the winner's speech. As we understand, he has now won on the Champs-Élysées. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because for the last 5 years, the UK national anthem has been played on the Champs-Élysées. So that's 5 wins by British cyclists. And certainly this one for Chris Froome will be very welcome. He'll be very excited about that. And he has now got a 54-second advantage over his competitors. But of course tomorrow the final stage is all about the pomp and circumstance, if you like. It's a grand finale, so it's not as competitive as we've seen here today. And of course we will wait for tomorrow. We're heading there tomorrow, so stay with us on Sky News where we'll have all the latest.
We will do indeed, Rebecca, and some more. Now, Britain's Chris Froome is all but certain of being crowned the winner of the Tour de France for a 4th time. The Team Sky rider has retained the leader's yellow jersey ahead of tomorrow's final stage. That's a procession into the centre of Paris. Froome finished today's stage in Marseille. Sky's Rebecca Williams is there for us now. And Rebecca, is it all over? Has he won bar crossing the T's?
It seems so. He's all but won, certainly. I mean, he passed through here, the streets of Marseille, about an hour and a half ago. They've all cleared up now, but there were huge crowds of people, really. Not a huge amount of British fans, I've got to say, but it got very exciting. And the Velodrome is just behind us as he passed and finished through there. I have to say there were a few boos from the crowds, but nonetheless he will be incredibly pleased with this performance. He told us just last week that this will be his greatest achievement if he wins, because he's had some ups and downs on this tour, of course, mechanical failures. He lost the lead, he had to get it back, so he will be very pleased with himself. And this will mean, what, 4 wins in 5 years, and so what an incredible feat for him, beaten only by a handful of cyclists who've made it 5 wins in the past. But who knows, he might go on to that next year. But certainly this was, at the time trial, it's one of his strengths for sure. And he retained the yellow jersey. Now tomorrow they will head to Paris. That is the large culmination. It's the grand finale. Of course, it's not so competitive tomorrow as it is for today. It's just the big ending, and he'll see him parade through the streets, shaking hands with people. But as you can see, there are a lot of people still milling about here, but the majority of the crowds have gone, and it's pretty incredible how quickly they pack up and on to the next.
Rebecca, thank you very much. Love the fact that she's wearing yellow in support there.